Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the StreetFighter build, where we're taking this bone stock Honda VFR800, turning it into a lean, mean StreetFighter machine. With things like aggressive Metzler street knobbies, beefy inverted forks off a CBR900, all new sleek tail section and custom seat, a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber Lextech exhaust, and we're going to finish off the bike with a black and red chrome body wrap to make this thing just scream for attention. Of course, we'll be doing a bunch of other cool stuff to the bike. Now, if you want to own this bike when it's done, if you want this bike in your garage, all you got to do is go over to Patreon right here, choose your donation per video. You can change that amount at any time, up or down. It's a super simple process, and when I get done with the build, the bike is going to one of you guys over on Patreon. Just remember, the more you donate, the higher the odds are of you winning the bike. With that being said, let's get building. All right, so I know some of you guys want to give me heat for calling this thing a StreetFighter when I got the fairings on the front, but keep in mind, when I started this build, I wanted to get rid of the fairings and I ran into some problems, but I've met a couple new people online in the last couple days, and they have some really good information about turning the VFR into a StreetFighter without the fairings. So we're going to try that. I can't make any promises right now, but that's the goal, is to get rid of the fairings. So what we're going to do today is we're going to lift the gas tank and make some modifications to the airbox area. The way this bike takes in air, it's kind of odd, and there's some things that you can do that are free that'll make the bike run better, especially at low RPM. That's where the problem is. There's three things we're going to modify, and I'll go over them in detail as we get there. And so what they are is the flapper valve, the air inlet, they call it the snorkel, and then the pair system. Three simple mods you can do to make your bike run much better, less choppy, throttle response down low, takes away the flat spot at around 5,000 RPM. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of VFR, but it's got the V4 engine like an Aprilia. The reason I bought this bike initially was because of the sound. So anyway, so let's lift up the gas tank and dig into it. So the gas tank on this bike's really easy to get at. Just got a couple of 8mm bolts in the front here. And just lift this up. Just got a regular file here. It's about, I don't know, 14 inches long. Now we got full access to the airbox. All right, the first thing we're going to tackle is this snorkel. This is basically an air inlet, and it's like the air sucking air through a straw. It's got its restrictions, so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to take a flathead screwdriver, pry this thing out of here. From what videos I've seen, it's fairly stubborn. I don't want to ruin it too, might want to put it back in later. There we go. That's what we just took out. So you see now we just have a nice big hole here, no restriction, performance mod number 1. The next thing we're going to modify is the flapper valve. That's this piece right here. There's simply a vacuum line coming to it. So we're just going to unhook that, and then I'm going to pop off the top of the airbox, show you in detail how this flapper valve works. Take that off there, and then so let's pull off the top of the airbox. Also, if you guys notice, my arms are a little spotty. I had this weird reaction to a blood pressure medication that I've been on for years. My entire body from neck to feet broke out in a rash. Worst 2 weeks of my life. 6 hospital visits, twice to the emergency room. Finally started getting better about 4 days ago, but they say the rash can take up to 6 weeks to clear up. But the show must go on. So taking off the top here is really easy. Just remove the every screw you can see. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 6 or 7 of them. Look at that. And this looks way better than it used to. It was bad. I've had a lot of broken bones from riding motocross. I even broke my femur, and it wasn't as bad as this. Wow, look at that. Even the air filter looks brand new. I've had this bike so long, I can't even remember the last time I did things to it. So the air filter's good. So here is the flapper valve, and you can see it's open right now. And as it builds up vacuum here, it pulls it closed. So what we want to do is, by disconnecting that vacuum line, it'll stay open all the time. So it's really simple as that. So now you have air coming through here, air coming through here at all times. Keen. Okay, this is probably overkill, but I'm going to go ahead and stick a little plug in this thing right here, in the vacuum line outlet here. Just whatever, keep dirt out. Throw a little piece of Gorilla Tape around it, keep it in place like that. And then, yeah, just feel better about it now. I'll do the same thing to the rubber hose that was connected to this. Just plug it off. Okay, now the third and final thing we're going to disconnect, it's called the pair system. Basically what this does is it draws in air from the airbox into the exhaust at lower RPMs, maybe up to 5,000 RPM. What that's causing is the bike runs richer at lower RPMs. Then, you know, you get this flat spot around 5,000 RPMs. Then at 6,000 RPMs, this bike has VTEC. The valves open up and you feel this surge of power, which is pretty cool. But what we want to do is we want to override this. Basically, what else we're going to do, we're just going to unplug it so it no longer works. And that should clean up the choppy throttle and the running rich done on the bottom end. So all we're going to do is unplug this connector to disconnect that valve. I guess they call it a valve. We'll throw some tape on this just to keep the connectors clean. And that's it. Let's see how hard it is to get this thing apart. When these things have been together for decades, they tend to... So there's a little tab right here. You want to push it outward to disconnect it, and then we'll... There we go. Throw some tape on there. Done. I always use Gorilla Tape. This stuff is so much better than duct tape. Super sticky. Probably get it at any Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace. Ace is the place. And then here's the hose that we disconnected from the flapper valve. So let's just kind of tie this right here. In case you guys are wondering about these plugs I have, I bought this package of plugs a while back, 44 piece, high temp. I don't know, I think I just found it on eBay somewhere. It's got all kinds of sizes in it. Oh yeah, there we go. Push it in like that. Throw a little piece of tape on there. Pinch it. Pinch it. Look at that. Sorry about the fan noise, guys. It is February 1st here in Southern California. And it is 81 degrees, if you believe that. I also recommend using a screwdriver with a magnetic tip, because you don't want to be dropping these screws down into the bike, especially these front two. It's no fun. Kind of excited about this billet fuel cap by Vortex. I normally wait till the end of the build to put on stuff like this, but I just want to see if it's going to fit, because I don't think it's exactly for this bike. It just says Honda. So let's give it a try, see if it even fits. Using the 3 long screws. Look at that. I'm so excited right now. That looks so cool. I don't know about you guys, but I love billet. Just about anything billet. Gotcha. Okay, I'm sure you guys know by now that I am partial to red and black. So check this out. It's all about the details, man. Every little detail counts. So I am going to change out this silver lock. This is the lockdown piece for a red one. Look at that. That is pretty. I love red anodized parts. Okay, so check it out. We went from this to that in a matter of minutes. Here's how this Vortex Gas Cap works. So this is a lock toggle. It's in the lock position now. It's kind of spring loaded. And if I just rotate it like that, I can now unscrew the cap. Screws all the way off. Put it back on. Just barely snug it. I probably had a little too snug. Just barely snug it like that. Take this. Doink. Done. Love it. Alright guys, those are the mods for today. I wish I could ride the bike and see how it feels, but it's obviously not ready for that. When we come back next week, we got a lot of cool stuff happening with the back end on this bike. Believe it or not, there's a lot that can be done. We're going to replace this stock rear brake master cylinder. I've got one for a CBR600 coming that'll give us better performance. It's going to have a cool billet fluid reservoir, all new hydraulic brake line. I love that this bike has a single-sided swing arm, so this looks really nice here. I'm going to pull this whole back end completely apart, get the wheel powder coated, get the Metzler street knobby tire mounted, new brake disc. Gonna pull the back brake caliper off, get it all cleaned up, get new seals in it. One thing about this bike that I don't like is it's got this linked braking system where when you hit the back brake, it also applies the front brake. So we're gonna eliminate that whole system, and I'll show you how in the next video. Let's see, we got a new sprocket. Gonna get this powder coated. This looks terrible, so that's gotta go. I'll have to make a new bracket to hold the rear brake line coming in. Not a problem. Then we're gonna pull off the entire swing arm here, get it cleaned up, get it powder coated. All new pivot bearings up front. Another thing that's very cool is we're going to ditch the stock shock for a shock off a CBR 954RR. Much better performing shock. The shock will be completely rebuilt, all new fluid and such. Gonna be a lot of work, but it's really gonna make this back end come alive. Function way better. All right, that's a wrap for episode 3. Episode 4 coming next week. Don't forget, if you want the bike, patreon.com/motopilot. See you guys next video.